So Joe Biden confirmed today what we already knew. Our next Supreme Court justice will not be chosen on the basis of legal acumen, intelligence, wise judgment, or fealty to the Constitution of the United States. Biden believes those are outdated Eurocentric criteria. In this country, equity trumps competence. What matters, Joe Biden explained, is sex and skin color. Watch.
I've made no decision except one. The person I will nominate will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, character, experience, and integrity. And that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
Okay, so he said it's going to be a black woman, but that's a pretty big category. In this country, that is over 20 million people, spans from Oprah to Candace Owens. But thankfully, the media are working hard to narrow the field for Joe Biden. CNN and MSNBC tell us that a woman called Sherrilyn Ifill would be a fantastic choice for the Supreme Court. Apparently, the White House is considering her right now. Ifill is not a judge. She's a political activist who spends a lot of time on social media. You may be wondering, what are her views on the Constitution? Well, here's her carefully reasoned legal analysis of voter ID laws.
Congress has to deal with, and state legislatures have to deal with, the reality of white supremacy in their own policies. White supremacy is individuals denying the civil rights of others. Texas and North Carolina, that those federal courts said deliberately created voter ID laws for the purpose of discriminating against African American and Latino voters. When we see that, when we see state legislatures convening to pass voter suppression laws, that is white supremacy.
What's white supremacy? If nothing else, Sherrilyn Ifill is succinct. Voter ID is white supremacy. It kind of rhymes, which is probably the appeal of it. You can imagine those words on a bumper sticker or on a sign in a rally. And that's the kind of legal scholarship that Sherrilyn Ifill is famous for. She's got a whole lot more of it on her Twitter feed, which you ought to check out. Let's say, for example, you're wondering why white people lie so much, as they so clearly do. Sherrilyn Ifill has an answer for you. Quote, "Whites view truth-telling as an act of violence," she wrote. That makes sense. Now, we're not going to make fun of Sherrilyn Ifill. We're afraid to do that. Once she gets to the Supreme Court, she might pull this show off the air. Last August, Ifill wrote that, quote, "Fox News should not be part of the basic cable at this point." Ifill added that she thinks the FCC should regulate Fox and wrote in another tweet that she was upset this show was allowed, quote, "on the public airwaves that belong to us and that are licensed by our government." We're not on the public airways. But now, some might say that anyone who writes a sentence that ignorant probably has a pretty low IQ. But we're not going to say that about Sherrilyn Ifill. We're going to assume she's just highly self-confident. She has no idea the FCC doesn't actually license cable news networks like Fox News. On the other hand, she doesn't care. To a scholar like Sherrilyn Ifill, what agency does what thing according to what law? Those are just minor details. They're just background noise. And Sherrilyn Ifill is not going to let any of it stand in her way. She's got glass ceilings to shatter. We very much look forward to her confirmation hearings. There's more chaos at the